Some people say goodbye like a storm, chaotic, loud, unforgettable in the moment, but forgotten by morning. A Sigma male's goodbye is the opposite. It comes in silence or with a single sentence, delivered so cleanly that it doesn't just end a conversation, it rewrites your memory of everything that came before it. He doesn't yell. He doesn't explain himself 10 times. He doesn't give you closure wrapped in comfort. What he gives you is final, cold, exact. And that's why it stays, because when a Sigma male decides to walk, he leaves behind only one thing. Words so precise that they sting days later, weeks later, sometimes for life. He's not trying to destroy you. He's just done letting his peace be a playground. That last line, it wasn't designed to hurt. It was designed to end. You may have forgotten the arguments, the messages, the second chances, but that last thing he said, that's the line you hear in your head when everything else goes quiet. And now let's break down the 10 savage reasons why a Sigma male's final words are the ones you'll never outrun. 1. He doesn't speak to be heard. He speaks to be understood. A Sigma male doesn't run his mouth to dominate a room. He doesn't raise his voice to prove a point. He's not interested in being the loudest, just the most impactful. When he speaks, it's not about attention, it's about precision. His final words aren't dramatic monologues or cryptic poetry. They're surgical strikes. He spent time analyzing the situation, tracking every shift, every subtle shift in loyalty or respect. And when he's ready to cut ties, the words he chooses are designed not for reaction, but for revelation. You don't remember his words because they were flashy. You remember them because they revealed something you were never ready to admit. Some words echo because they were never said to fill space, they were spoken to end it. 2. He lets you talk until you bury yourself, then he delivers the verdict. While most people interrupt, defend, or retaliate, a Sigma male does the opposite. He listens, not passively, but strategically. He lets you unravel yourself, giving you all the space you need to show your true colors. He doesn't stop you because he doesn't need to. Every excuse, every half-truth, every little contradiction you spill is a piece of the puzzle he's already figured out. He just needed confirmation, and you gave it to him. Then when the dust settles, when the emotional performance winds down, he drops a sentence that ends everything. No drama, no mess, just a line so calculated and real, it hits harder than anything you said. Truth doesn't need volume, it needs timing. 3. He doesn't aim to win the argument, he ends the dialogue entirely. Most people engage in verbal tug-of-wars because they crave validation. They want to win. A Sigma male has no such desire. He doesn't argue to convince. He speaks to conclude. When he sees the cycle of blame, guilt, and projection starting, he doesn't participate. He lets the energy spiral on its own until it burns out. And then he steps in with a final sentence so detached and exact, it stops everything. It's not meant to wound. It's meant to exit. No one remembers who won the argument, but everyone remembers who had the last word, especially when it ends the whole chapter. The most powerful sentence is the one that leaves nothing else to say. 4. He uses silence like a weapon, but his words are the kill shot. There's a reason Sigma males make people nervous without even speaking. Their silence is unsettling because it's never passive. It's loaded with thought. It's heavy with awareness. He's not just quiet, he's collecting data. And when he finally decides to say something, it's already too late, because the conclusion has already been made in his mind. The one line he gives you, it isn't an invitation to explain. It's the closure you didn't expect, the cut you didn't see coming. It lands like a verdict. And what makes it worse is that you know he's not coming back to revise it. He didn't speak because he needed to. He spoke because it was over. 5. He doesn't speak to win you back. He speaks to walk away clean. Sigma males don't talk for reassurance. They don't make dramatic exits hoping you'll chase them. When they're done, they're done. And when they speak, it's not to stir emotion, it's to finalize. His last words don't say, "Look at what you lost." They say, "This is where I leave." And it's that neutrality, that calm, clean disconnection that hits the hardest. You want to respond. You want to say something that might open the door again, but he didn't leave the door open. He bolted it shut. Final words aren't for closure. They're a lock on the door you didn't think he'd close. 6. He waits until the illusion breaks, then leaves you with the truth. He saw through you from the beginning. He noticed the patterns, the cracks, the way you shifted stories and played roles. But he didn't call it out. He waited. Because he knew the illusion would break eventually. And when it did, he wouldn't need a long speech. Just a single sentence. One that shows he always knew, but respected you enough to let you unmask yourself. It's not a punishment. It's a statement that he was never fooled, that he saw through the show, and that truth in its calm delivery destroys the illusion more completely than any confrontation ever could. He didn't unmask you, he just waited until your disguise dropped by itself. 7. His words come with distance already attached. By the time you hear his final sentence, he's already a memory. His energy, his presence, his investment gone. You're hearing the end from someone who emotionally checked out long before the words ever came. That's why it stings so much. Not because of what he said, but because of how coldly detached it was. You realize in that moment, he's already healed. You're just now waking up to the loss. And there's nothing worse than realizing someone already mourned your absence before you knew they were leaving. Goodbye hurts more when it comes from someone who already healed before saying it. 8. You never thought he'd leave until he said that one thing. You thought he'd tolerate more. You assumed he was too calm to walk away. You confused composure for dependence. And that was your mistake. Because the calm didn't mean weakness, it meant calculation. He was paying attention, keeping score. So when that one line came, it didn't just mark the end. It revealed that he had always been willing to walk, he was just waiting for the right moment. You hear his voice in that sentence every time you look back, because it was the line that flipped the whole story. He let you think he was lost until he told you he was already done. 9. He didn't say it to hurt you, he said it because it was true. Sigma males don't exaggerate. They don't spin reality into comfortable illusions. They don't lace their words with emotional sugar just to make the truth easier to swallow. For them, honesty is not just a virtue, it's a weapon of clarity. When a Sigma speaks his truth, it doesn't come loaded with guilt, drama, or justification. It's just raw, distilled reality, the kind of truth most people can't handle. And that's exactly why it cuts deeper than insults ever could. His last words weren't delivered with malice. They weren't cruel jabs. They were calm, cold truths stripped of all pretense. Words so factual and stripped of emotion that they force reflection whether you're ready or not. Because truth like that doesn't just sting, it haunts. You won't replay them out of anger. You'll replay them because they dismantled your illusions without raising a voice. His sentence will echo not because it was aggressive, but because it was accurate. And no matter how far you run from it, you'll hear it again in your own silence. You'll ask yourself, was he right? And the worst part, you'll know the answer. The truth doesn't burn because it's harsh, it burns because no one else had the courage to say it. 10. Because you know he'll never say anything else. You can tell when a door is closed, but with a Sigma male, it's more than that, it's gone. That final sentence wasn't just a full stop. It was erasure. It was the deletion of a chapter. And the reason you'll remember it forever isn't because of how brutal it was. It's because it's all you'll ever get. There's no sequel, no drunken call 6 months later, no accidental text. He spoke, and then he disappeared with his peace fully intact. You carry his words because they're the only thing left. And you know, deep down, they always will be. He didn't just end the conversation, he ended the need for one. On a final note, most people say too much. Sigma males say what matters and then vanish. Not out of cruelty, but because repetition is for the insecure. Closure is for the ones who aren't already whole. When he finally speaks and walks and cuts clean, it's not to create trauma. It's to protect his peace. And if that last thing he said lives in your head now, it's not because he cursed you. It's because you finally heard him after it was too late. He didn't scream. He didn't beg. He didn't explain. He just told you the truth and made it the last thing you'd ever hear from him.